Hi, I'm Joel Reedy, a founding partner at Cornerstone Law Firm. I want to talk to you a little bit today about the First Amendment during the coronavirus crisis. So, a lot of people have already been calling and emailing me and asking me questions about how is it possible for the government to restrict our First Amendment rights in the middle of the coronavirus? Obviously, a lot of governors have announced that there are limits now, sometimes very small limits, 10 people in gatherings publicly, that they are restricting the rights essentially of churches to get together. Somewhat amusingly, a few states have passed rules or have issued proclamations that First Amendment gatherings are accepted. So what are those and what's that about? So a couple things to think about. The First Amendment protects several things, but one of the things it protects is your right to gather. We really don't think about this much in this country because rarely does anyone challenge it. But in many countries, like China, you're not allowed to gather over a certain size without a government permit. And thanks to the First Amendment, that is not a valid restriction that the government can typically pass. However, there are exceptions in the law, and it is permitted to the government to issue regulations even on First Amendment rights if it can be shown that it is narrowly tailored to advance a compelling government interest. What that means is, if the government is doing the simplest or narrowest thing it can do to restrict your First Amendment rights, that's okay if it's advancing a compelling government interest and there's no other way for the government to go about it. So an example here is where they say we're not allowed to gather. We're worried about the coronavirus. We're worried people are going to get infected. To the degree that that can be sustained as a matter of scientific fact, and it seems like it can, then that meets at least one part of that test. The government has a compelling interest in preventing the spread of a potentially deadly disease. The second question is this narrowly tailored? That is, are there more reasonable alternatives available to the government? The answer is, in this case, is a little bit harder to tell. Probably not, although it's a little bit difficult to know. For example, some of what we're trying to do here is just prevent healthy people from spreading the virus amongst themselves as carriers without knowing it, and this is at least theoretically tied to whether that might infect other people they might interact with later. There's a real question about whether that can be sustained as a matter of law. Now, obviously, all of this brings us to the question of whether it's best just for all of us to relax, spend a few weeks not gathering, and see how this turns out. That may be the case, but down the road, if the government continues to try to restrict gatherings, I expect there may come a point where people want to challenge that. Another question a lot of people are asking is, can the government affect free speech, freedom of the press during this lockdown? So we're not really at this point yet, although we've heard a few people say that maybe it's time for the government to look at people who are spreading fake news or false information about this crisis. While I don't believe in fake news and don't think that spreading false information is a good thing, I think it's really important to remember it's a beautiful thing what we have in this country. People can say whatever they want, and if you don't like it, the solution to that is not to shut up the people you don't like, it's to have more good speech. The solution to bad speech is more good speech. So the short answer is I don't believe there are really any restrictions the government could pass on fake news or anything like that that would be valid. They would have to show how that was the most narrowly tailored approach to solving a compelling governmental interest. I think that would be very difficult to do under these circumstances. So this video isn't meant to be legal advice. I just wanted to answer some questions that I'm getting a lot of. If you have specific questions about a situation, I welcome you to give us a call. At my firm, we're working remotely, so we'll be happy to field your call if we can help you out. And hope everybody stays healthy and we'll get through this together.